Welcome to Still Plays Galaxy of Heroes. This is the new account, week 2. Here are the topics for this week, the lessons learned from the first 2 weeks of playing, the progress made since last week, what I'm currently farming, what's going on with the stores, and the long-term planning I have for this account. Now, when it comes to those lessons, refreshes is number 1. It's more than farming characters. Refreshes equals experience, which equals leveling up faster. The more you're refreshing energy, and really it should be basic energy and mod energy, the more you are refreshing that energy, the faster your account will level up and unlock new modes faster, unlock new nodes faster, unlock new characters faster, and get to the new milestones. That is huge. Over time, that might mean an extra couple levels in Squad Arena. By the time you hit level 85, that might mean you've hit level 85 a week, 2 weeks sooner than other players who aren't aggressively using their crystals on energy refreshes. Next is the early game is so much better than when I played this on my main account. Back when I first played 4-5 years ago, whenever Rogue went, 4 years ago, I think this is the 5th anniversary, so I started playing after the first year. There was no mod energy, there was no fleet energy. All that extra energy means extra experience, which means you're leveling up your account faster. What you'll see is like a lot of players used to stall out and quit the game, and I think it's because once you hit like level 40, the game started becoming very slow. You didn't get that kind of like daily endorphin and dopamine satisfaction that you got in the early levels. You'd get bored, you stop playing. Now what I'm finding is right as I was about to stop progressing a level per day, mod energy happened. And now mod energy is going to take me to fleet energy. So this account is developing a ton faster. On top of that, in events, these events where you have these basic training events, I was able to experience that on my main account, but I did that after the fact. But now I'm able to test out teams. I'm able to get a bunch of resources, get a bunch of shards early on. That is so much nicer than what I had to deal with the first time around when I played this. Next, use quests strategically to level up, to get crystals at opportune times. If you find that you are about to level up, hit the next level, that's a time to hit some quests, to use those achievements to hit the journey guide and hit it and to progress a level. What you're able to do is, like, I wanted to make sure I unlocked Vader, so even though it wasn't the best use of like Cantina or Squad Arena store currency, I used that currency to unlock some characters a little bit early just so I could satisfy these achievements and get Vader shards. Or over here in the journey guide, I was making sure that if I had an opportunity to get some crystals, I needed some credits, I needed to do an energy refresh, but I was out of crystals, I could go into these events. Don't want to battle right now. I could jump into these events, take advantage of these rewards, get these credits, get these crystals, do an energy refresh, so that I could get those experience points and level up, and thus get even more experience points and credits, and either unlock nodes, unlock characters, or unlock events. Take advantage of those opportunities to speed up leveling. Now, it's never too early to start hoarding. One thing that happens to new players, this happened to all of us who played this our first time through, is you have to learn to fight the urge to put on ability materials when you see these red notifications, or to put on gear when you see these green crosses. Just start early. Just stop putting that stuff on, because All of these green crosses are gear that you could be giving to your squad arena or other characters at later levels. Don't put them on just because you feel like you have some. So here's a for instance. Take a look at Luke Skywalker, your farm boy. Looks like not a big deal. I could just put on this one gear piece and level up. But let's take a look here at this holo projector. I can only accumulate it from nodes. I don't get it from a challenge. It's asking for 5 at a time. What that means is that's a slow farm when I'm trying to spend my energy on shards, not on gear. So using this up now is not a good use, even though it looks like I can be progressing him to the next gear tier. It's way better to just save that stuff up for your main characters that you are developing. And I'm not just doing that when it comes to gear and ability materials. I'm doing that in all the stores. I'm just slowly and gradually starting to build up my currency. I'm looking for a Sunfac here in the guild store. If I'm not finding them, I'm not spending it. I will look at these pieces. What I'm looking for in these guild store gear pieces is fused salvage pieces that will save me from having to buy multiple of these at a time. Like this one here is actually pretty good. If I still buy this piece in my main account. This is a fusion of several of these thermal detonators. Less relevant to early accounts, but if you have a mature account, that's a piece worth buying. But Cantina Store, I'm just slowly accumulating these. If I can't buy all the pieces that I need to level up a character I'm working on in a couple store purchases, then it's just doing nothing to put this on now. For me to make 2 purchases, get him up 20 shards to 58, it's meaningless. Whether that's accumulating here or accumulating in the character, it makes no difference. Just start getting used to having those currency available. Wait to make those purchases. Squad Arena, we're going to jump in here a little bit later, but I'm doing the same thing. If I can't unlock somebody, if I can't level them up, or I'm not a couple purchases away, then I'm waiting. Same thing with the guild store, and we'll touch upon this again later, but I have long-term goals for this currency. We're not going to spend it too early. Last of the lessons learned is to time the use of your resources, and for that I'm really referring to Galactic War. Like what you saw in my squad arena is that I could have, or not in my squad arena, what you saw in my roster is that I could have put on gear. I could have leveled up my characters to 51 instead of 50 where they're at right now. I could have put on ability materials. But what I'm waiting to do is when I'm going through Galactic War and I start getting stuck at these later nodes, I have resources on hand to give to my characters at that point after the game has shown me what I'm going against. Then I can improve my team at that point, make them stronger as I go up against these more difficult teams later in Galactic War, because you need to be clearing Galactic War every day. It's the fastest way to get characters to 7 stars. It is a huge source of crystals, and you need to be getting those crystals so you can be doing those refreshes and getting that experience. Those are the lessons learned from the first 2 weeks. Now the progress since last week. Here is the squad arena team. It has not changed in the past week, whereas in the last video I shown that basically on a daily basis that team was changing. We got Vader, we're making progress on him. Magma Trooper has very quickly reached 6 stars. And again, I want to remind people, especially people who have did not watch the first video, do not do what I am doing. Do not go after troopers. We're doing this for fun, and we're doing it as an experience to see what the Vader rework means, what Piet means, and what Moff Gideon means for troopers in the early game. It has been fairly successful. They drop on defense, but on offense they are great, and just like Phoenix, they clear Galactic War. So these are the farmable and achievable troopers from day one. What I do like is when it comes to the stores, they are not competing with anything that I want to be doing. Whereas, not just the stores, when it comes to nodes and energy, they're not competing with things. When it comes to Separatists, like, you have 3 choices that you need to be splitting that energy on with your Cantina energy. When it comes to Phoenix, that's 2 characters you're splitting focus on. But the downside is Veers and Range are node farms. They are a little bit slower and take a little bit longer. But that's a trade-off I like, because when it comes to the fleet arena, I don't have to compete with my squad arena to get my fleet arena ready, and that is going to be very nice. So let me show you what that looks like in the stores. In the Cantina battle, week 1, we unlocked several characters. We unlocked Chopper, we unlocked Boba Fett. Chopper was for the light side, Boba Fett was for the credit heists. But now we are singularly focused on the Stormtrooper, a little bit slow because we're not doing Cantina refreshes regularly. Guild Store, we talked about the gear pieces a little bit, but we're farming Sunfac when he's available. It's been pretty slow. He has not been appearing for me. I check every refresh. Squad Arena, this is where working on troopers has been very beneficial, because I don't have to split my attention between multiple characters. Because what you can't lose track of, like if I was working on Phoenix, or if I was working on Separatist characters, whether that be Gunray or Ventress, you can't forget about your capital ship pilots with Akbar, Tarkin, or Windu. And Windu, I'm saying that for respect. No one's going to be farming him. But because there is not a trooper focus that I need to worry about in this store, I'm singularly focused on Tarkin, and he synergizes with my Empire team if I want to throw him in during Galactic War. Because what this allows me to do is when I eventually hit level 60, unlock fleets, my Tarkin is going to be far more progressed than the average player who has to split their currency a little bit up between farms. Galactic War, same kind of deal. Right now we're just focusing on Magma Trooper, getting him to 7 stars. As soon as that happens, I'm done unlocking characters. I'm done farming other characters until level 60, because what I want to do is hoard as much Galactic War store currency as possible, so that when Fleets is unlocked, I'm able to hit all those Geo ships as quickly as possible. I want to take all that hoarded currency and just take those ships up and dominate Fleet Arena. And that touches on stores, that touches on the planning. The long-term planning is to make sure that my Fleet Arena is as powerful as possible. From there, any other long-term planning is we're going to eventually be shifting a little bit into the Separatist route later on, and then getting ready for Grand Arena. We want Separatist team. We want a Night Sister team. We want a Geo team, Empire team, and what I'm targeting for is easily access teams that aren't huge gear investments, and I want to see how that strategy, where I'm really trying to optimize how quickly I can progress some accessible teams for Grand Arena. But that may shift as soon as Bastila becomes available and some of these other choices. But that's one of the things that I'm thinking about. I kind of want to test some of these optimization strategies out. So we're going to call it there. That has been the progress on this new account over the first week. We've got another talk video coming up for Friday where CG has put out a ton of new information and content over the past few days. We're going to talk about some of the things that has occurred over this past week. Be safe out there, everyone. Be excellent to each other. This has been Still Plays Galaxy of Heroes.